Hey, welcome to a brand new chapter of Old Man Brad. Whether you are new to the show or returning for another chapter, thank you so much for giving this little horror podcast a listen. And if you love the show, drop me a review over on your favorite podcast app. I would love to hear what you think of the show. So this week we return to the world of public domain as we talk about the new film, The Mousetrap, previously titled Mickey's Mousetrap. And this is the first horror movie to come out with Mickey Mouse, or should I say Steamboat Willie's Mickey Mouse. And I have an interview with the writer and one of the stars of the film, Simon Phillips. I'm so excited to have talked to him. We'll jump into that here shortly. But before I do, if you're in the Cincinnati area, come out to Frightful Fridays on the third Friday of the month. I'm so thankful to be partnered with the Esquire Theater to host a horror movie screening once a month. And our screening for August, on August 16th at 10 p.m., we're going to be watching I Know What You Did Last Summer. This is one that I am really excited to see in the theater again. Come out August 16th, 10 p.m. Let's watch a movie together. Okay, let's jump into all things The Mousetrap.
A lot of people are dead. And a lot more want to know why.
Okay. I warned you. Because once you know, you can't unknow.
This is serious.
It is. So stop playing childish games. Look, I have no clue what happened to them.
I can see you.
Somebody wiped all the CCTV footage.
You wanna see me?
We have a serious problem here.
What the?
Turn around!
If I find you, it's game over.
It's Alex's 21st birthday, but she's stuck at the amusement arcade on a late shift, so her friends decide to surprise her. But a masked killer dressed as Mickey Mouse decides to play a game of his own with them, which she must survive. This is directed by Jamie Bailey. It is written by Simon Phillips, and it stars Simon Phillips, Sophie McIntosh, Allegra Nocita, and many others. And I'll jump into my thoughts on the film here after we listen to my interview with Simon Phillips. But before we jump into that, like everybody else, come January, we saw the trailer for The Mousetrap. And we heard Steamboat Willie was coming into the public domain. They had this movie ready to go. And in March, when I went to Horror Hound, I was at an after party and ended up meeting Simon and didn't know that he was part of this Mickey Mouse movie. We started talking. He told me about it. So I was like, man, you got to come on the show when this movie releases. And we need to talk about how you did, came into Mickey Mouse and wanted to do this, blah, blah, blah. So it was quite a fun night talking to him about the film. And I'm so thankful to be able to bring you an interview with him. So without further ado, let's move in. We're going to do my interview with Simon Phillips, and then afterwards, I'll give some just quick thoughts that I have about the film, spoiler-free. Here is my interview with Simon. I will talk to you on the other side. My guest this week has been involved in many different projects, including Fubar, The Witcher, and played Santa Claus in Once Upon a Time at Christmas and The Nights Before Christmas. His new project, The Mousetrap, is the first horror film to include Steamboat Willie since it hit the public domain. I'm excited to welcome in Simon Phillips. How you doing today?
Brad, thank you so much for having me, Brad.
No, thank you for coming on. Now, I want to know from you, what made you decide, Steamboat Willie is hitting public domain. Let's do a horror movie.
It's like this, Brad, okay? You ever been out with people with a bunch of drinks and had a crazy idea whilst you're drinking and then been like, you know what? We should do? We should climb Everest. Let's do it. Let's just climb it. We can do it, right? And then the next morning you wake up and you with a hangover, you're sort of sobering up, and you're like, obviously, we're not going to climb Everest. That was silly. I've got a dentist appointment this week, or something. So, but if I didn't have the dentist appointment, I totally would have done that. That's what happened, but nobody sobered up, and we just kept going. Like, you know what? I think we could do this. Well, let's, if we find the location, I was like, all right, I'll write a script. All right, if we find the location and we write a script, and then we do manage to get some actors on board, and sort of, then maybe we could do it, and it just kept going. We had a ridiculous idea, and that is my idea, and I'm thankful that Jamie Bailey ran with it, because couldn't really do it on your own. You need somebody else believing in the crazy idea, that we could do it.
And when you came up with the crazy idea, were you thinking like, there's the Winnie the Pooh out there and many other public domain?
Well, that was how it happened. It was like we saw Winnie the Pooh, the first Winnie the Pooh movie, which isn't very good, but it was a good idea. And then we said, and then I saw an article from somewhere else saying that, over the next 10 years, that these characters are dropping into public domain. And the very first one that was coming up next was Mickey Mouse, which is coming up in 2024. So at the time it was 2023. And we're like, I was like, you know what we should do? We should totally make a Mickey Mouse slasher movie, a bit like they did with Winnie the Pooh, and have it ready on January 1st. So that when they announce, it's now in public domain, we go, here's the movie. And then people will be like, oh, wait, what? And we'd be the first ones to do it. Maybe not the only ones to do it. And then on January 1st, Brad, we were the only people to do it. I was amazed that I thought, because after Winnie the Pooh, I thought someone else is going to do this for sure. But nobody else has done it. I mean, a bunch of people sort of said, yeah, we're going to make a movie which is just, anybody could say that. But the only people that actually were brave and actually did it before, and then we got slowed down, Brad, by 6 months of legals. Lawyers making sure we weren't going to get sued and so on and so forth. So,
I was going to ask you about that. How were the challenges as you had this done, and then the legal challenges?
Well, I asked a friend of mine who was a lawyer to look into it first when we were doing it. I was like, and they were like, well, it's in public. It will be in public domain. At the time, it wasn't yet. And they're like, it will be. You can't sell anything until next year. So remember, I was making it in 2023, and they're like, well, you won't be able to do it. You won't be able to sell it until 2024. And like, well, that's okay. Sort of. We wouldn't. That's how you make movies anyway. And I was like, it's a lot of upfront. Sort of, and you sell it later. And then they were like, okay, well, as long as you make Mickey look a certain way. Like, he has to look like Steamboat Willie Mickey, so black and white, black eyes, no white gloves, no red jumpsuit. Those are all latter iterations of Mickey Mouse, and they're still owned by Disney. So as long as he looks like that, and you don't do anything like use Disney-style font or Disney-style music, you don't do anything to create brand confusion, it should be all right. And then on January 1st, 26 million people watched that trailer. In about a 48-hour period, and we were like, oh wow! And then all the lawyers jumped on us to make sure. Yeah, can you send us the movie so we can have a look and make sure you're okay? And they were, apart from adding a disclaimer at the beginning and stuff like that, they were fine. And it was actually, we changed the name as well. It was Mickey's Mousetrap, and we changed it to the Mousetrap because they were like, well, Mickey's Mouse. We don't like the alliteration. Sort of maybe that's grounds for suing you. So they're like, just change the name. It's still the same movie, obviously. And they're like, just the Mousetrap. And we're like, okay, that was our one compromise we made with the insurance and the lawyers. So that was good fun.
I was going to ask you about that title change as you were filming it, because you filmed it before anyone really knew you were doing it. It was kind of a surprise.
I was keeping it top secret because I was convinced, Brad, with Jamie. I was like, I think this is a great idea. So when we were making the movie as well, people came in. People didn't really realize what it was. We just described it as like a masked killer, somebody dressed as, so anyone that we had like a sort of a little thing we'd send them. So that it wasn't out there too much, because I was like, if we tell too many people, I think somebody else is going to do it, because I only know really film people. That's my circle of people. So I was like, I'm sure someone else will do this. Number one, they'd be crazy not to, because I think it's a great idea. But we kept it all top secret whilst we were making it.
And as you were making it, like when you made the mask and everything, was there a lot of just detail you had to go back and forth and like, it has to be exactly like this, or it has to do this? And
yeah, that was Jesse Edwards who made the mask. Had to, it was a bit of a process. It was the hardest thing, definitely, that we had to do. She made the mask, and but she had to alter it, sort of. So it had to have, originally it had eyeballs and eyebrows, so he had like little eyebrows and everything, which he can't have. So had to get rid of them. So she's painting them out and stuff like that. So it was a whole load of, altering before we actually filmed anything with it. So yeah, that was a whole lot of fun doing that. But we had to make sure it looked right. So it was making sure it looked right keeps us safe later. And they're like, well, you're not going to see it too much. And you're like, right, later on when they make the thing, the image that they use will be for sure, just the face, sort of. And they're like, well, yes, you are going to see it very, very clearly at some point. So,
Well, and you did a good job because you're wearing a hockey jersey. You're wearing not to make it say, hey, it's the mouse. Aside from that.
we couldn't wear the red jumpsuits. So we're wearing a black hockey jersey. We're wearing a black hockey jersey. It does have a little splash of red on it, but we're not wearing a red jumpsuit. So yeah, we do follow to the letter, sort of, Brad, when we were making it. So that's how it came about. And as I say, this crazy idea just kept going. It's as if we stayed drinking. That's how it is. We stayed drunk throughout the whole process. Nobody was the sobering voice going, guys, are you sure? Nobody did that. Everyone was just excited by the possibility. And when I was telling people, when I eventually did have to tell people, every person I know, like filmmakers and everything, because they got to December, and I was in December, I was pretty sure I could mention it to a few people and they wouldn't be able to steal the idea. I'll say that, stealing the idea like it's my idea. Steal the concept, I guess, of doing something like this. And every one of them were like, that's smart. That's very smart. And I was like, yeah.
I mean, what are your thoughts on some of the others? Like, I think it's Screamboat and some others that came out after you made that announcement.
Look, you know what? We were the only people, whatever about those guys, I don't mind. But whatever, we were the only people brave enough to make the movie and drop it on January 1st. All the other people were just sort of talking about dropping. They go, actually, we're working on one right now. And you're like, okay, well, this is sort of put your money where your mouth is. It's like, well, we weren't working on one. We just had a whole movie ready, sort of. And everyone is, no matter what they tell you, everyone is watching to see what happens to us. So on August 6th, when we released, everyone was wanting to see whether Disney will slap us with any kind of lawsuit or whether they will actually just quietly tolerate our presence.
Now, are there more drinking ideas for sequels after this, or you're kind of gonna wait and see how this goes?
I can't possibly say any of those things.
Well, I don't want to give anything away from the movie. So we're just kind of.
What you're saying, Brad, is that we should get together, we should go drinking and come up with a new slate of crazy ideas.
We should. We totally should.
I support this.
Well, as you said, it comes out August 6th. Everybody should go check out the first ever horror movie with Steamboat Willie, Mickey Mouse's Steamboat Willie. I guess, could I say Mickey Mouse? I don't know.
I've been advised that we have to keep saying it like that. They go, it's not Mickey Mouse, Simon. It's Steamboat Willie's Mickey Mouse.
Yes.
I was like, yeah, I mean, it's still Mickey Mouse around. They go, you should qualify it by saying which Mickey Mouse it is, sort of. I was like, you should. And I was like, I don't, obviously, okay. I was like, fine. But it's Mickey Mouse.
So as we kind of wrap things up, I mean, obviously you have The Mousetrap coming out. Is there anything else that you have in the works? I mean, I just saw a trailer for Silent Bite, which I'm kind of excited to see.
I'm very excited about Silent Bite. Annoyingly, these two things dropped in the same week. The Silent Bite is a kind of a Christmas horror movie, and I love a Christmas horror movie. I've done a few. But Silent Bite, for some reason, they dropped the trailer, on August 1st, and they go, an odd time to drop a Christmas trailer, but okay. And they go, but it's not being released on November 12th, I think. I'm very excited about that one. It's basically boys versus girls. And then a fight between men versus women. Who do you think wins? I think we know the answer to this, Brad.
We'll have to just wait and see, right?
We'll have to wait and see. But anyway, the girls are vampires and the boys are bank robbers, and they get trapped in one place overnight on Christmas Eve after just robbing a bank. And obviously they're vampires, so they're hungry. And the boys are outlaws and trying to keep a low profile, and mayhem ensues.
I saw the trailer yesterday. I'm excited to check it out.
Me too. We're very much looking forward to that one as well. So, but the message this week, Brad, is
The Mousetrap. Everyone should go check out The Mousetrap. And Simon, thank you so much for chatting with me on the podcast. I know we've gone out to drinks and chatted before, but
we've had a few drinks, me and Brad.
But thank you so much.
And I'm sure I'll have some again. I'll be at Horror Hounds. for the Horror Hound, the great people at Horror Hound who tolerates us. I'll be there, Brad. So I assume you'll be there.
I will be there too. So we will connect. We'll talk maybe some sequels. I don't know, but stay tuned, people.
Thank you, Brad.
Again, I want to thank Simon for taking the time to chat with me. I look forward to chatting with him at Horror Hound again. But The Mousetrap, you should go check it out. This is an interesting film. There's many scenes in it I kind of wish they would have went further, especially with the kills and stuff like that. I'm sure it was budgetary reasons or schedule, trying to get these things done. That is my biggest complaint with the film, is not going far enough with some of the stuff that happens. I do have a few questions about some things that Mickey can do in the film that I'm not going to give away, but I was a little confused with some of it. Overall, The Mousetrap, I did enjoy my time. Like, I didn't hate that I watched it or anything like that. It was a fun start to probably mini Steamboat Willie Mickey Mouse horror films that we're going to get. I mean, we got Winnie the Poohs, we got, Cinderellas, we have a Bambi coming, Peter Pan's. The public domain horror is alive and well right now. I'm hoping the market doesn't get too flooded, which it's getting there, but it's interesting to see all these different movies that are coming out. I know some people are like, can't they come up with an original idea or anything like that? You know what? I'm having fun. You gave me giving me 2 Winnie the Pooh movies. The first one, take it for what it is. Second one was much better. I talked previously with the director of the movie Punch, the puppet show Punch and Judy. They turned that into a horror movie, which this one, The Mousetrap, Mickey kind of has a voice, and it reminded me of scenes from that film, just kind of the way the voice went. You have that one. Like I said, there's a Bambi coming out. There's many Cinderella versions out there. Sleeping Beauties. Bambi is coming. Peter Pan is coming. And you know what? I am all in for all of this. Give me more. The Mousetrap, I would love to see a sequel. It has its faults. I think some might be budgetary. I wanted it to go a little further on a lot of things. Some of the characters were a little questionable. The main actress, Sophie McIntosh, who plays Alex, I really liked her. I thought her character was great. Simon did a good job as Mickey. I mean, you're wearing a Mickey Mouse mask and a hockey jersey, running around. What else? What else could you do? The character of Marcus in this movie, if you guys see it, he was probably my least favorite of them all. It didn't take away from what this movie was and what it wanted to be. Go check out The Mousetrap. If you see it, let me know what you thought. Hopefully we get a sequel to kind of continue on what happens in the film. Either way, I'm going to continue watching public domain horror films because this is it's a fun time to be alive, guys. It's a fun time. Let me just tell you. All right, before I head out, let's give you a little something else that you can watch at home. But I mean, you're going to go rent The Mousetrap. That is where you can get it right now. It's not streaming anywhere. You'll have to rent it on VOD. One that you should go watch that you can watch on Tubi, because Tubi is the best, that I watched last week. It's called Attack of the Lederhosen Zombies. This movie is hilarious. It's these influencers, snowboarders that are on this mountain kind of on a trip, and zombies start to attack, and it is really funny. I enjoyed my time with Attack of the Lederhosen Zombies, and if you just want a mindless, stupid, silly fun time, go check this one out on Tubi, because I think it'll scratch that itch. All right, well, that will do it for another chapter of Old Man Brad. I have quite a few episodes in the works right now in the next couple weeks. But just make sure you subscribe to the show and you will never miss any chapter of Old Man Brad, including my series Tales from Tubi. Just snuggle up in that blanket, turn off the lights, because it's okay to be scared. We'll talk to you later, everybody.